Welcome to an episode of At the Closing Table. I have Amy here, buying your first house. Congratulations. How do you feel?
I feel like this is incredible. This is huge for my family, it's huge for me, and I'm beyond excited.
Having just gone through this process, do you have any tips for first-time homebuyers?
The only tip that I can think of would be to work with you because you made the process so smooth and seamless, and you have really great strategy. You know the area really well, and you're really well connected. So work with Alan.
Love that. Thank you. So let's go back and recap this process real fast. So you reached out and you had already isolated the property that you wanted. Very last minute.
Yes.
Hopefully it wasn't stressful on your end, but my strategy, especially with an offer deadline, is I go up until like the last couple hours so that I can kind of fish out as much information as possible from the seller side, right? And I think in that particular scenario, there was like 7 offers, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
We talked about very quickly the 3 protections.
That's right.
Inspection, appraisal, and mortgage. That's a lot to kind of digest
That's all at once.
all at once at the offer deadline. How was that from your point of view? I'm actually very curious.
Well, yeah, for someone who in total only made 2 offers, you made it really easy to understand and it all made sense. And it did help that I have family members that have bought homes recently, so I had some information about this process, but you really helped me make sure that I was, comfortable with my decision. I was making a good decision and that I didn't do anything that, like I didn't put too much money on a property that wasn't worth it or something like this. So you really just helped me make sure that I was making a sound decision. So
Yeah, I always run it almost like a risk analysis. Like how much risk are you incurring? What are you comfortable with? And what's the cost trade-off for that? So we did end up getting that first offer accepted. It was very competitive and it went like way over what we found in comps. So we ran a bunch of scenarios of like other houses that were similar and nothing was selling at this price.
no.
So we'll let that one go. And then we found, actually just by chance the following week, something very similar came to the market again. And we're like, okay, we know what the value of this is because we just went through the process a week ago. So in your mind, I think you were ready to submit an offer for around that same price. Once again, offer deadline. So we wait till the very last second. I think our strategy was to put an escalation clause in, right?
That's right.
We ended up waiving inspection.
We did.
Actually, I think we ended up waiving the appraisal contingency too.
Yes, we did.
Because we were still like very much so below what the other property has sold for. So
Right.
we have like inside knowledge of like where the value is.
We had a good first start.
Exactly.
And I remember thinking to myself, Alan, our initial offer should be higher, but you were like, well, let's try this. Let's try a little bit lower just to see, and it ended up working out really well in my favor. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got it for way less than what you were willing to go to. So all in all, a solid deal. Let's go through the other components of this deal. So Matt Tran was your lender over at Total Mortgage. How was he in this process?
It was pretty amazing that you had worked with him previously and you have a good working relationship with him. And he is also really well connected and really good at what he does.
Mhm.
So because he was like well connected, the buyer's agent knew who he was.
Yeah.
And that kind of gave me an edge on getting my offer accepted. Throughout the whole process, he was able to inform me because, of course, I've never bought a house before and there's a lot to know about a mortgage. So he made sure that I was informed and that I knew all of the items and all of the costs. He helped me get a good rate and make sure that the rate fluctuated throughout the time, and he made sure that I got the rate that at least what I was quoted originally. And he was really good at communication as well. And there were no issues at all with my mortgage. It was extremely smooth.
No, I think we didn't have any hiccups in this at all. It was very smooth, which is important because you were kind of moving out on a certain timeline. Yeah, so
My
it's tight.
ends very soon.
Yeah. So I'm glad that we were able to pull that off as well. How was Rick Dunn over at DR Law in this process?
He was great, again, with communication and making sure that I had everything I needed. I know that he did some of the work with getting paperwork pushed through and helping get my mortgage get approved earlier on. And he was able to do that in a timely manner. And he was really professional. He also answered any questions that I had. I'm actually just really grateful for the whole entire team being so professional, good with communication, knowing what they're doing. I feel like I couldn't have been much luckier.
Well, I'm glad it worked out. Last question for you is why would you recommend me?
Why would I recommend Alan? then, again, when I found that first property, I didn't have a real estate agent. And my friend Irene, who used you as her real estate agent, told me way before I was even looking. So she was like, if you're going to buy a property, especially in this area, go to Allen. And so I trust her, and it makes so much sense why she would sing your praises, because again, you're really knowledgeable. You had amazing strategy. You know this area really well. You've sold many homes, and you were able to take really good care of me. I couldn't imagine it going better with any other real estate agent.
Nice, thank you for saying that. And actually, yeah, we ended up beating out 3 other offers, I think, for your.
You got a cash offer.
Yes, we got a cash offer, and yeah, the sell side really trusted Matt so that our offer could be as competitive as the cash offer would be. I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah, it definitely does. I remember getting off the phone with you after you told me that my offer was accepted and just pinching myself.
And he also, we gotta add this too, Matt was able to get you an appraisal waiver, which really only happens when like they do a back of house, like online appraisal real fast, and like they're like, all right, there's obvious value here.
Yeah.
So that always gives me good feedback that we're getting a good deal there. And also, we saw what the other property closed for, and yeah, so I'm pretty happy here.
Yeah, same. It's closing day. I can't believe it. I'm just my first time buying a property. It's a huge deal for me. Everything went so smoothly. I'm gonna go buy a scratch ticket later.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. Congratulations.